of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Matt, if we could have roll call, please.
Councillor Robinson, Batolo,
Here.
Hanson,
Here.
Zadi, Hickerson,
Present.
Pedri,
Here.
Demas,
Here.
Thompson,
Here.
Mayor Mickelson.
Here. Council, could I please have a motion approving the amended agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Thompson. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our consent agenda. First up this evening, we have approval of minutes for the City Council meeting minutes of June 18th, 2024. We have the Joint Powers Telecom Board meeting minutes of May 16th, 2024, and the Joint Powers Combined Communications Board meeting minutes of May 20th, 2024. And then under correspondence, we have a letter of support from the Urban Renewal Agency regarding Ordinance 2024-09, and a thank you letter from Jean Schnauber regarding the Water Operation Division's quick response to a water leak in her home. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demas.
If he can't move it, he doesn't want anything to do.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Before we move on to presentations and proclamations, I wanted to congratulate Councilor Demas on being the URA Volunteer of the Month for June. It was very good work. And then I wanted to remind the council that we do have a float in the Liberty Day Parade this Thursday beginning at 10 a.m., which is a sweet deal for y'all because I have to be there at 7:30 to line up. So, and then one other thing just for the public awareness, we've been invited by the Sweetwater County School District Number 1 Board of Trustees, along with other local elected officials, to meet with them at their special meeting on July 17th. I'll send an invitation out, but it's to discuss the new high school and some of the challenges in bringing that to fruition. And with that, we'll move on to presentations and proclamations. First up, we have a new suicide prevention training being presented by Shay Haney with the Sweetwater County Prevention Coalition. And I think she has a special online guest.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Shay Haney. I'm a prevention specialist for Sweetwater County, as well as the coordinator for Sweetwater County Prevention Coalition. I truly am just here to talk today about Prosper, which is a new suicide prevention training that is coming to Sweetwater County, contracted through the governor's office. With me today, I have Dr. Kent Corso, a suicidologist that is really the man behind Prosper, and he truly knows exactly how Prosper works, what we're doing, and he's going to basically present to you why it's important to bring it to Sweetwater County and just talk to you about it. So I'm going to turn it over to Kent for that.
Thank you, Shay. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My understanding is I have 2.5 hours for my segment. Okay, maybe 10 minutes. I'll try to stick to the script. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to brief you all about Prosper. Prosper stands for the Proactive Reduction of Suicide in Populations via Evidence-Based Research. So there are many suicide prevention efforts going on across Sweetwater County and many of the other counties in Wyoming. And despite all those efforts, we're still not bending the curve. And so we've done quite a bit of work in Lincoln County. We've done some work in Teton County. As a part of this effort through the governor's office, we've been contracted to work in Sweetwater, Sublette, Campbell, Washington, Park, and Natrona. And so very grateful for the opportunity to implement Prosper in these counties. Just to give you a quick overview, we tend to do one-size-fits-all suicide prevention training. And that's not to say that things like QPR and ASSIST aren't helpful. Of course, they are a very important foundation for any suicide prevention effort. They dovetail with the CIT, or Crisis Intervention Training, that Wyoming has been providing its law enforcement. All of these are very important foundations, and yet Prosper sort of is built on top of that. So as I said a moment ago, we tend to do one-size-fits-all suicide prevention training. That is, we tell people, go get help. Go get help if you're struggling. And yet, we know that many people in your neck of the woods won't seek help. That's just not within their value system. They value independence, they value self-reliance, and they value sort of muscling through it and being resilient. And so that's part of Prosper, is being culturally tuned to the community in which we implement it. So of course we would like people to go get help, but we're also going to focus on teaching people how to help themselves. So there are 3 different contingencies that we are training as a part of this. One is clinicians, so mental health providers, physicians, nurses, even medical assistants and others within the medical community and mental health community. And that's a full day training. That's happening on August 8th. Then we're also doing a training on August 7th, and that's for other helpers. So everybody from EMS to fire, law enforcement officers, and also educators and even school counselors, people working with our educational system. The reason why it's so important to train those others is we've got to get upstream of suicide. If we're just training the ER staff or we're just training the mental health staff, it's almost as if we're too deep. We've kind of been doing that for a half century, and frankly, it's not working for us. So the goal of Prosper is to raise or what everyone can to help their fellow neighbor who's in distress, because I think we can look at something like a cardiac arrest if someone's just lying down on the sidewalk, motionless, unresponsive. That's an emergency situation. Many of us would probably choose to help in some way versus just stepping over them and walking past. And someone who's suicidal is really no different. We've got to stop looking at suicide as a mental health condition. It's not. It's a social condition. It's no different than homelessness or poverty or bullying, for that matter. And so the more we look at non-mental health solutions, of course we're going to keep providing mental health care, but the more we look for non-mental health solutions, the more we're going to be able to bend the curve. I said there were 3 types of training that we're supposed to be providing. The third training is a community-based training. Now, this is a way to empower community members to be part of the solution, because there are many different ways each of us can be part of the solution, and it just depends on what appeals to each individual. When we talk to communities who have lost loved ones by suicide, we'll ask them, did you notice the signs and symptoms? And oftentimes people will. And then we'll ask a tougher question. We'll say, did anyone ask them if they were thinking of killing themselves? And sadly, many people will say no. We didn't ask because we didn't think they were bad enough. And we want to teach people to not have to make that judgment, but to take a better safe and sorry approach, to care for their neighbor, to reach out to the person to their right or left. Again, consistent with values of your community. And so the community-based training is about 90 minutes. It empowers others to be a part of the solution. It destigmatizes suicide and mental health and tries to help people be a little more comfortable talking about it. It certainly doesn't normalize suicide as if to say, hey, since many people experience this, you should feel this way too. I want to be clear that sometimes the more we talk about things, the more people do them. And that's not how suicide works. In fact, the less we talk about it, the more we're contributing to the problem. We've tentatively, talked about the 26th of September being a community event at the Runway Theater from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So that's something that we are talking about with the mayor's office. And I will pause there to see if there are any questions. I'm also assuming that all the audio is working properly. So please, we'll pause now so you can ask questions or direct me otherwise.
All right, counsel.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
it's not really a question, and I'm by no means an expert at this, but I think you touched on something that was pretty important. Is the question to ask is, are you contemplating or considering suicide? Or are you thinking about suicide? Not, are you thinking about hurting yourself? I think that very, very often we're a little bit nervous about broaching the subject, thinking that we may suggest something that they haven't already thought of. And I don't think that's accurate. I think that you need to say specifically, are you thinking of killing yourself? And I appreciate you broaching that, because I think that's a pretty common misconception, is that we may suggest something, and if they ultimately end up dying by suicide, it's our fault. We suggested it. We gave them that idea. They've thought about this far longer than we could probably even understand.
That's a great point. I mean, would it be okay, Mr. Mayor and council members, if I respond briefly? Would that be all right?
Certainly.
So really appreciate the speaker's comment there. When we talk to people who have attempted suicide and lived, and we ask them what life was like 2 weeks before they attempted, they'll tell us that it was obvious they were struggling. They will report that the people they work with, the people in their family, their friends, they all knew something was wrong. They were showing up to work disheveled, they were reclusive, or they were maybe losing their cool more frequently. And despite everyone realizing that there's something was wrong, they realized that no one asked them. And that made them feel more worthless. That actually confirmed their reasons for dying. It actually made them think, do you know what? No one would miss me. And if they cared, they'd be asking. So sadly, it's not only that it's not only that asking won't make it worse, but it's really that when we fail to reach out to people, it may make it worse. So it's sort of the opposite of what people often think.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Very good. Well, we are very excited that we'll be hosting you in September and are glad that you're coming to our community to do that good work. Chair Dr. Corso, do you have any closing thoughts?
I'm good, unless you have any questions for me or anything like that. I think we're all good.
No, I think that's all wrapped up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a community introduction. Our new Rock Springs High School football head coach, Coach Bo Copeland. If you'd like to come up. We're super excited to have you here as well, and appreciate you coming down to share a little bit about yourself.
Good evening. I'm Casey Keplin. New to the community. My Bo is my middle name. That's why it's popping up on there. So not a big deal. A lot of people call me by that. So far, I guess, coming into the Rock Springs community, I'm originally from Elgin, North Dakota, which is 700 or 600 people, I think now. So I'm used to a rural setting. Came up here on the interview in March and mentioned to Mr. Schenkel, one of the gentlemen I got to know here, that reminded me a lot of home, minus the fact instead of the great mountains we got right there, we got plains and rolling hills and whatnot, but it's a lot of the same. So it felt a lot like home, which is a big reason my family and I moved here. Thus far, we've had a great experience from community members reaching out, yourself reaching out. The football experience in the program so far has been awesome. We started our off season June 10th when we got into town, and we've had 97 student athletes come through total. We're averaging just over 50, almost 60 student athletes a day for football, strength conditioning, running, those types of things. So we've got a pretty good group out there, and I'm told we're still missing a few that are 8th graders coming up. And we've had some student athletes on vacations or camps and things like that. So we haven't seen them all, but that means hopefully we got a roster of well over 100, which is pretty intriguing to me. My wife is loving it. She's working at the hospital in the ER. So she started right when we got here. She's been able to get to know some people there and has pretty much resonated the exact same thing, is that it's been a great move. We moved from Arizona, and the weather here is much more suited for me. I'm not a warm weather human being, so I'm looking forward to about mid-December, really, to be honest with you. But
You'll love February.
so I love snow. My wife doesn't love the shoveling or when I have to go do it, but she'll deal with that part because she was excited about the community as well. So We have 3 young kids. We've got a boy, Cage, who's going to be in kindergarten this year. Our middle kid, Billy, is going to be going into preschool. He'll be 4 here in a couple weeks. And then we have a baby girl who just turned 5 months. It's about a week ago. So we've got a pretty good crew growing. Hopefully we get to add a few more, provided that all works out the right way. But no, we're really excited. We've had a great experience, and like I can't mention the parents and the community that have reached out. I probably have gotten more texts, emails, phone calls, and added people to my contacts in the time since I've been hired than I did in the previous 2 years of my previous position. So it's been pretty cool. And everybody I talked to is pretty excited for the season. So we're working to put together something that hopefully is improved and that the kids are proud of as well, and that the community can be proud of. So it's kind of all I got. I do appreciate you having me, but if y'all got any questions or anything that you
Your Honor. So being an outsider, I guess, by a month, I guess you're here, but what is one thing we as a community could do to help improve your welcome, I guess?
I'll be honest. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I asked some of the local community members I've got to know, but hey, who do I ask for getting my truck fixed? Or I asked, hey guys, if you want to help me move in, and I had 30 some kids show up to help me unload. I'll be real honest. I don't have anything, or my wife doesn't really have anything that we're real. Daycare was great to get into. The schools have been great to work with. Teaching at the high school, I've had good communications with Mr. Bolin and the other principals. So as a community, from what I've experienced, y'all are putting your eggs in the basket you got, and pretty proud of it and supporting it. From my perspective, just a few months in, I really can't think of anything.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Council? Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to August. August 12th, we get to start. We will have that 12, 13, 14, 15. That Saturday, we'll do a midnight practice, or midnight madness, we call it. That'll be our first kind of live scrimmage. So it's the Saturday after the golf tournament, so it's the 17th of August. So if you're not in the golf tournament yet, Ms. Brady and the Huddle Up will hook you up. But the 17th will be kind of our first audition live. The guys will get to go against each other. And it's the first full day we can really get after it and hit, so we get up bright and early to do it. So
Well, that is wonderful.
We'll give you one season, but next season you got to give us a state championship.
there's goals in mind for that. I can guarantee you that. I didn't come here to not work towards that. And we've got a good group of kids and really young group. So I'm looking forward to see them continue to grow. And the older guys we got have been busting it so far since I got here. So it's been great
Wonderful.
to see.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming down.
Absolutely.
And Sharon, we're really excited to have you. And if there's anything we can do to help, just let us know.
Will do. Thank y'all very much for having me.
Okay. That brings us to petitions and public comment. If you'd like to address the council and I, please approach the podium and share your name and who, if anyone, you represent.
Why do they always leave? Do you mind if I move this a little over?
No, that's fine.
I'm just going to ask a few questions. I'm not going to be here long, guys. But I'd like to know a little something. And then I'd like to talk to Paul about one of his employees. And yes, it's a positive thing. Okay. And my city councilman is a part of you too on H Street.
There we go.
I'm sorry.
Now we got it. After a year of discussion.
Sorry about that.
Down on my way home. So I'll go down on my way home.
Okay, are we ready? Yes. My name is Shirley Ann Sukeli. And I think I'll start with Paul. Paul, I'd like to give a praise to Megan Jackson that works in your department. What is Civil Engineer 1? What is that?
Your Honor, Civil Engineer 1 is the entry-level engineering position in the engineering department.
Oh, okay. Well, I had called her on the phone, and we talked, and it was on a road on H Street. And it was kind of caving in, and it was hard. Nobody could, drive on it. It was tough to drive on it or to put their vehicle on it. And I called her, and she got right on it. And within that week, she got in there, and she got it Lewis & Lewis's construction. And everybody was excited because now they could, be able to park on it. And I'd just like to give a heads up with her. She did a good job. She got right on it. And that's what we need, is people to get right on it. I don't know you city employees because I've been gone for so long and stuff and that, but I'd like to get to know you, each and every one of you. And what I see so far is your city employees are pretty cool. They are right on it. They are absolutely very loving and kind, and you can't even walk out the door without one of them saying, "Oh, good morning." That's what a person needs. That's what a senior citizen needs. They need somebody to care. And I'm here for the senior citizens, and I always have been from the beginning. Now, the next one is on this, and I asked the chief. I got this in the mail, and it's the U.S. Census Bureau National Processing Center, and it's out of Jeffersonville. Is that Illinois, or is IN Illinois, or what?
Indiana.
Is it in? And I got that, and it's really funny. I don't know if it's a scam, but the elderly are starting to get this. I don't know if it's a scam or not, but they send a $5 bill in it. And it looks just like a $5 bill. You can see it looks just like a $5 bill and wants me to do this survey. And I don't know if it's a scam or not, and that's what I'm asking the chief. Do you think it's a scam? And is that $5 bill, good? Because if elderly people are getting this and they see that and it's a scam and then they're going to put all that information in there, that's pretty bad.
Your Honor, I have to surface this looks legit, but I would prefer to bring this to people smarter than me and get back to you on that.
Okay, that sounds good. You got my text. Okay, and one more, let's see. Another one is, when is the budget going to be ready for the people to be able to see it? And if it's going to be printed out and put in the library, is what my group wants to know.
Your Honor, it is ready now. It's out online. I don't think we've sent a copy to the library in several years, but if they want one, we sure can provide it to
I think
them.
it's for the people. It's not that if they want one, it's for us, because you'd be surprised how many people went in there just to look and see what's going on and see what's happening. And they enjoyed to be able to do that. And it was done quite a while until some things happened that we won't discuss it, but, it's for people that don't have the internet, or can access, they're not going to come here and say, hey, I would do it. I'd come here and say, hey, can I sit at your table and sit and read it? But I think it would be great if you would copy it and give it to the libraries. And then, let the people at a city council meeting, let them know that you've got them there. And if anybody would like to see the budget, then they should be able to. What do you think?
I think we can get those there by next Monday. to the libraries.
Oh, that sounds super. And I'll tell my group, because we meet on Mondays. And, you know, they like to see it too. And one more. And don't forget that Tim said that, well, told me that we need another really quick meeting. So would you please get us a meeting going? And it's going to be fast. It's not going to be one of these dragged out, sitting there and talking. It's going to be listening to that secret tape recording he did of us. That which he says what was on it, which I say is on it. You know, we need to get it cleared. Is that okay, Tim?
I'll look at my schedule.
You're so funny. Yeah, okay. I'll be up here at every meeting asking. So thank you, I appreciate it, and thank you for the First Amendment,
Yes, ma'am.
Council.
Okay. Is there anyone else who'd like to address us this evening?
Your Honor, along with the incident with the street that you see she's having problems with, there was a water break up on Jade Street, I guess, in the last week. And I want to say kudos to your people for getting up there and getting on it like they did and getting it taken care of. As far as I know, they contacted me and it was taken care of before I had a chance to even call them back. So kudos to your streets department on that also. It's too bad it happened over the fresh asphalt lay, but they got up there and got on it, so.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. So with that, we will move on to bills and claims, beginning with the bills and claims for June 30th, 2024. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for June 30th, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Abstaining.
Okay, the motion carries with Councilors Pedri and Thompson abstaining. That brings us to the bills and claims for July 2nd, 2024. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for July 2nd, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Abstaining.
Okay, the motion carries with Councilors Thompson and Pedri abstaining, which brings us to the salaries for June 21st, 2024. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve the salaries for June 21st, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Abstaining.
Okay, the motion carries with Councilors Thompson and Pedri abstaining, bringing us to new business. The first item is request from the Finance Department for permission to fill a vacant administrative assistant to mayor and finance position. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Botello. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hickerson?
you really need help. That's all.
I do. They asked me in the beginning if I thought I needed help, and I said, no, I've got it, but I don't got it.
No, I've seen your schedule. I'm good.
Yeah. Is there any further discussion? Nope. Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? The motion carries unanimously, bringing us to a request from the Fire Department for permission to fill a vacant firefighter position. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Thompson. Is there any discussion?
Not this time.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, the motion carries unanimously, bringing us to a request from the Park LLC for 2 liquor catering permits for the Red Desert Roundup Rodeo on July 26th through the 27th, 2024, from 4 p.m. until midnight at the Sweetwater Events Complex grandstands. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Botello. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to the request from the Santa Fe Trail Inc. for 2 liquor catering permits for the class of 83, 84, and 85 reunion on July 12th, 2024 from 7 p.m. until midnight, and July 13th, 2024 from 5:30 p.m. until midnight at the SCM Parish Center. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Councilor Robinson, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our final item of new business, a request from Sean Page for permission to have alcohol at Veterans Park for their annual Carter Family Reunion on July 4th through the 6th of 2024 from noon until 10 p.m. and on July 7th, 2024 from noon until 7 p.m. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Bertolo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demas. Is there any discussion?
I'm just wondering where my invitation is.
Invitation. I'd like to know.
I didn't see it.
We talked about this the other day, and they've been doing it for years. I'd like to know what number this is, because they've been doing this since I can remember.
Yeah, it's got to be like 25 or something or more.
At least.
At least.
At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
I mean, we can ask Peggy.
cool to know.
Yeah.
Wondering how many generations we've been through at this point.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Definitely. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our resolutions for this evening. The first is Resolution 2024-92.
A resolution accepting and approving a revised job description for the position of Marketing, Events, and Theater Coordinator at pay grade 105 for the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-92.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilor Bertolo, thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to Resolution 2024-93.
A resolution accepting and approving a revised job description for the position of Administrative Assistant, Fire Department, renaming the position Executive Assistant to the Fire Chief and placing the position at pay grade 108 for the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hanson?
I move to approve this resolution.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilor Robinson? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to Resolution 2024-94.
A resolution accepting and approving a Sweetwater County District Board of Health Service Agreement and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said agreement on behalf of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-94.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Bertolo. Is there any discussion? Okay. I would just note that the amount that we're awarding is below what their request was, and their intent is to increase their request for next year as well. And that the money that we are giving them serves primarily to fund the health inspections of restaurants and tattoo parlors. So with that, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-95.
A resolution accepting and approving the Sweetwater County Transit Authority Service Agreement and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said agreement on behalf of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hickerson?
move to approve Resolution 2024-95.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demas. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to 2024-96.
A Resolution accepting and approving a Ray Lovato Recycling Center service agreement and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming to execute said agreement on behalf of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Batolo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Robinson.
just to throw this out there, probably a couple times a month, maybe more, I swing by the recycling center to drop off cardboard and aluminum and styrofoam and anything else that Amazon decides to drop by my house. And they are always just on top of the game. They do such an amazing job. And you'll drive by there on a Sunday afternoon and see a mountain of cardboard. And usually by midday on Monday, it's gone. And they just do a great job. And I think they definitely earn their keep down there.
Can I just say one word about them? I agree. Tim, I agree with you. Yes, they are really fantastic in that. But when are they gonna get a building? When can people do something to help them get a building, because that place is gonna crash? Even talking to the guy, Tim, just talking to the guys about it.
Sure.
They're working on it. The recycling center board is working on, they have a whole master plan to get funding to get it moved out, I think, to the dump, and then to do curbside, because they would be big enough to fund it, is my understanding. They are. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? No. Motion carries unanimously, taking us to resolution 2024-97.
A resolution accepting and approving a proposal from American Legal Publishing for review, codification, and online publication of city ordinances and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said proposal on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demus?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-97.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to resolution 2024-98.
A resolution accepting and approving the new National Opioid Settlement Participation Package Kroger Settlement Agreement between the City of Rock Springs, the State of Wyoming, and other participating Wyoming governmental entities, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said settlement agreement electronically on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hickerson?
move to approve resolution 2024-98.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Thompson. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor.
Councilor Robinson?
Sorry to be a vocal guy. I'm curious. I know there's not like a set amount of how much we think we're going to be getting for this, but would this be something that would go into the general fund, or is this something that we could direct specifically to law enforcement and prevention, or where would these funds go?
It's some funds that are, I think the appropriate word is horrendously restricted in how we can use them. It's very narrow. And either Mr. Beckwith or Chief Ayers Palmer could speak in more detail on that if they would like.
Sure. And I can tell you how we used the last settlement funds. In fact, some of it, I don't know where it is. The money that was allotted for law enforcement, we had a hard time actually finding what we could use that money for. But there were things that had some training or prevention or safety. And so we ended up with two True Narcs. Remember, True Narc came out probably about the time that you were retiring, but it's a electronic device that can test unknown substances without opening the packaging.
Oh, okay.
So fentanyl, being so prevalent, it's a big time safety device that we can now test in the field that stands up in court without opening the package and exposing our officers to that. So we bought two of those. They're like $35,000 a piece. So they're expensive, and we wouldn't have been able to fund it without that money. So that's what we used.
Are 2 units adequate?
Yes. With the price tag that is, I mean, I guess we could get more, but I definitely would want to keep really close ties on where they are. So I think we're actually getting some Apple tags and attaching to them in the checkout process. So there'll be one in our detective unit and one in our patrol division. So that should be adequate.
Thanks, Chief.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Just to make it clear, the money didn't go back. We will roll it over from this year till next year, and then we'll discuss how the chiefs want to use it and make sure it goes through legal counsel before any money is spent.
Very good. Okay.
Mayor?
Yes.
If I may?
Yes, sir.
Just generally speaking, the funds that we're getting from these settlements are meant essentially to deal with the effects of the opioid crisis. So with mitigation and prevention, generally speaking, is what the expenditures are limited to.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
is there any way we could put that towards some mental health stuff for habitual users, I guess?
I think that there are some provisions that, of the agreements that deal with that, but we'll look at, right now, what we're agreeing to tonight is to enter into this agreement. We don't know how much we're going to get, and we're not sure precisely what the restrictions will be on it until we see the final distribution.
Okay. Good. Okay. With that, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-99.
A resolution to issue a quitclaim deed from the City of Rock Springs to Gary L. Sukeli and April L. Sukeli, a small undevelopable portion of land which has previously vacated by the City of Rock Springs in 1994, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to issue said quitclaim deed on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Councilor Patillo, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demus. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. And now that brings us to the triple digits, Resolution 2024-100.
A resolution to grant a right-of-way construction, operation, and maintenance easement to Rocky Mountain Power, an unincorporated division of Pacific Corp., and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said right-of-way easement on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demus. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The motion carries unanimously, bringing us to Resolution 2024-101.
A resolution accepting and approving an amendment to the grant award agreement between the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security and the City of Rock Springs, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs to execute said grant award on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our first of three ordinances this evening, all of which are on their third reading.
An ordinance amending section 1604C of the ordinances of the City of Rock Springs entitled Adopting the Personnel Policies and Procedures Relating to City of Rock Springs Employees and Adopting Revised Personnel Policies.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hickerson.
move to approve ordinance 2024-07.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demus. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hickerson.
did you get the amendments you wanted done, altered and verified and all that?
Yeah, for all of them. Any further discussion? Okay, Matt, if you will, please.
Councilor Batolo,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Okay, motion passes unanimously, bringing us to ordinance 2024-08.
Amending section 8402 of the ordinances of the City of Rock Springs entitled Policemen and Firemen to Reside Within 20 Miles of City.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor.
Counselor Hickerson.
Move to approve ordinance 2024-08.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Thompson. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Matt, if you will.
Counselor Hanson,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Vitolo,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our final ordinance of this evening, 2024-09.
An ordinance amending Article 3.2 of the ordinances of the City of Rock Springs entitled Offenses Concerning Public Morals and Decencies.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor.
Counselor Hickerson.
I move to approve ordinance 2024-09.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Demus. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Hanson.
I was absent last meeting when they had discussion. I was wondering if anyone could update me on what we discussed regarding this ordinance.
Yes. It's been amended that everything has to be in a plastic container. All businesses have to provide, downtown businesses have to be the ones that provide the alcohol for consumption. They have to apply with the city to get that ability, get their customized cups and bracelets. We haven't, it's either or, I guess, right now. And it'll last until the end of September, I believe. And it's just for the downtown pork chop. And just remember that if we don't like it, if something does happen, the alcohol incidents increase, we can always take it off the books at that point.
As far as that goes, as I read the ordinance now, if somebody is walking downtown during the day drinking a beer without a wristband or a sticker on their mug or glass or whatever, that they are susceptible to to getting a ticket for being charged with open container?
Yes, that's correct, Counselor Hanson. If they don't have a cup that's marked and a wristband that they got from an establishment within the zone that we established by the ordinance, and they are subject to receiving a ticket for open container.
And they must have both, is that correct?
Yes, I mean, yeah.
I mean, if I have a wristband or just a beer without the wristband, it's subject to citation?
Yes, the ordinance states that such establishments shall be licensed by the City of Rock Springs and shall provide patrons with an identifying wristband and a clearly marked disposable cup indicating the establishment where the beverage was purchased.
Okay. Chief Earspalmer, do you believe that'll show an increase in open container citations over the next couple of years, if it stays?
I actually don't think it will increase citations.
Are you looking at any kind of patrol or enforcement of this ordinance?
Not a specialized patrol. I don't have the manpower to do a specialized patrol for that, but of course our guys will be educated on the ordinance and be able to account for that. But as it's written now, I really don't see it being problematic for us. Of course, I had my objections earlier, and we've talked a lot about that. But as it's written now, I think it's pretty fair, and will give you a baseline of how that will affect our city.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor.
Counselor Hickerson.
I do have one concern with this, though. Is the city going to provide a little bit more waste disposal? I don't know. I guess Paul would be the one to talk to
Garbage
help
cans.
alleviate any littering that may happen due to this ordinance. Is there any way we can get some more waste bins?
Your Honor, Counselor Hickerson, actually, the Parks Department is the one that
Okay.
that handles the
Sorry about
garbage
that.
receptacles and
Same question to
services
you,
them,
Mr. Lansing.
Yeah, I guess it could be, I guess Dave can discuss that maybe.
Your Honor, Counselors, if that's the intent or the direction that you want us to go, but it is just, one more thing we've been talking about, possibly divesting or reducing services here and there, and then these little things creep up and potentially increase our workload. I don't have a good count on how many are in the downtown area, so I don't know what you'd be talking, I can't imagine it's that many more. But it is one of those things that we're trying to watch out for, is not increasing our workload if at all possible. But if that's the direction you want to go and that's a directive, then we'll make it happen.
Well, I think the good news about sort of the authority that's vested in us, if littering becomes a problem, if people aren't following the ordinance and they're just bringing their own alcohol, it only takes 6 weeks to change it back. So hopefully folks deal with it responsibly and appropriately. And if they don't, then we'll just say, well, we tried and never mind.
Your Honor, is that something we could like put towards the businesses that are supporting this, that they could put receptacles outside their
We can certainly
businesses?
suggest that to them.
And take care of it. That way it doesn't put more burden on the parks and employees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Chief, is the PD still doing tips training on a pretty regular basis? Okay, I think that maybe some inclusion of this new ordinance and some of the, I don't know, hopes and desires of the council and the downtown businesses to kind of keep reins on it would be a good idea. I think maybe them also helping us understand, are they outside their businesses picking up a bunch of litter? Is it a problem? Because I know for the most part, during a lot of the downtown events, the Parks Department is very good about making sure that the garbage containers are empty and cleared out on a regular basis. I wouldn't see an absolute massive overflow. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of people on day one out there with open containers. I think it's going to be a pretty rare occasion that happens, and it's probably going to be, and just a guess here, it's probably going to be when we have some other type of event going on down in the area. So I hope it's not a problem, and I hope that it works out well. But.
Agreed. Okay. Anything further? With that, Matt, if you'll run us through, please.
Counselor Hickerson?
Yes.
Pedri?
Yes.
Demus?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Badolo?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson?
Yes. Okay, motion passes unanimously. And then I'm going to bop Robert on the nose and have us do the council updates before we move into executive session, so folks don't have to stick around to hear that. So is there anything y'all would like to share about your activities, things you've been up to?
I think everyone read mine.
Fair, fair. No? Okay. I did have a question. November 1st is the Rock Springs Chamber of Commerce's Rockstar Award. And so I wanted to see if y'all are interested in going.
We're giving out an award.
Oh, nice. Me too.
Chad called and asked us to be presenters for that, so.
Okay, so you'll definitely be there.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
When is it?
November 1st.
It's a long ways away.
That's makes it easy to schedule.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I won't be there.
Very good. Okay, well, we will get a table. And with that, I would entertain a motion to enter into executive session for discussion of litigation and real estate.
So moved.